The letter arrived on a crisp autumn morning, tucked under my windshield wiper like a parking ticket. Your wall violates our community standards. Remove it immediately. That was the ultimatum from my HOA, delivered with the kind of arrogance that only bureaucrats drunk on power can muster. My name's Henry Caldwell, a retired civil engineer with 37 years of experience building bridges, tunnels, and foundations that could laugh in the face of earthquakes. The wall they were targeting? A 10-foot-high, 38-foot-long retaining structure I designed to hold back a mountain of unstable soil in Crestwood Hills. It wasn't just a wall, it was the only thing keeping 20 tons of dirt from burying half the neighborhood. But to the HOA, led by the insufferable Monica Hayes, it was an eyesore that clashed with her vision of suburban perfection. 3 weeks after they tore it down, the mountain roared back to life at 1 a.m., waking 6 city blocks with a sound like the earth itself was screaming. What I uncovered about Monica's motives that night will make your blood boil. 5 years ago, I chose my house in Crestwood for what most would call a nightmare. A 38-foot slope dropping into a canyon, cradling tons of loose soil, just waiting for gravity to take over. Most saw a lawsuit waiting to happen. I saw a puzzle. After decades of engineering, a retaining wall felt like the perfect retirement project, something to keep my mind sharp and my neighbors safe. I spent 3 months designing it. Reinforced mesh, proper drainage, a foundation that could anchor a small skyscraper. Every permit was filed, every inspection passed with flying colors. The county engineer even called it a textbook example of slope stabilization. For 5 years, that wall stood firm, protecting 6 houses through torrential rains and giving everyone peace of mind. Then Monica Hayes swept into our lives. Monica, with her interior design degree and a smile that never reached her eyes, became HOA president 8 months prior. She preached about visual harmony and a cohesive design language, which was code for her wanting everything to bend to her aesthetic whims. My sturdy, functional wall, it didn't fit her Pinterest board. Our first clash came at the 4th of July barbecue. I was flipping burgers when she sauntered over, wine glass in hand, and said, "Henry, that wall of yours is ruining the hillside's flow. It's so utilitarian. Ever thought of something more organic?" I set down my tongs and stared at her. "Monica, this isn't about looks. It's about physics. That soil could wipe out half the street." She laughed a sharp, dismissive sound. "We have drainage systems, Henry. Nature balances itself." A young neighbor, Chloe, fresh from landscape design school, chimed in. "Exactly. Natural slopes work with the environment, not against it." I tried one last time. "Gravity doesn't care about your vision." But Monica was already walking away, waving me off like I was a child. 2 weeks later, a violation notice appeared on my car. Unauthorized structure detected. Immediate compliance required. I dug out my permits, soil reports, and inspection certificates, every scrap of proof that my wall was legal and essential. I sent the HOA a 15-page portfolio with photos, engineering specs, and a 1998 report on our area's soil instability. They ignored it. Fines followed, then a 60-day removal demand. The HOA treasurer, Margaret Wells, delivered each notice with apologetic eyes. Margaret, always in her floral sweaters, looked like she'd rather be anywhere else. When she handed me the final notice, she whispered, "I think you're right about the danger, Henry." She glanced around nervously and said no more. I knew then this wasn't just about aesthetics. Something darker was at play. The showdown came at the next HOA meeting. Monica had a PowerPoint ready, projecting photos of my wall labeled aesthetic violations. She stood there, clicking through slides like she was pitching a corporate merger. "This structure," she said, pointing at my wall, "is everything we're moving away from. It's harsh, intrusive, and screams function over beauty." The room nodded along, seduced by her charisma. I stood up. "That wall holds back tons of soil. It's not pretty, but it keeps your homes from sliding into the canyon. I've got permits, soil data, and 15 years of instability reports." Chloe shot back, "You're fear-mongering. Nature doesn't need your concrete fortress." An elderly neighbor, George, hesitated. "What if Henry's right about the slide?" Monica's smile tightened. "Democracy decides, folks." Hands went up. The vote was unanimous, except for mine. My expertise, my life's work, was overruled by people who thought feelings could stop landslides. The final warning came on embossed HOA stationery. Margaret handed it to me, guilt etched on her face. I know you're right, Henry, but I'm scared of her. She makes life hell for anyone who crosses her. Her fear hinted at secrets Monica was hiding. I spent the next week doing what engineers do. I documented everything. Photos, weather data, soil charts, slope stability calculations. My dining room looked like a war room. I sent a 15-page report to the HOA and county, citing building codes and liability laws. I thought facts might win. I was wrong. They'd made up their minds. One Saturday, I was sipping coffee when a truck roared up. Two guys in vests jumped out with shovels and an excavator. The foreman waved a clipboard. Here to remove the unauthorized structure, per HOA orders. I kept my voice steady. This is private property. That wall's permitted and critical. Touch it, and you're in a lawsuit when this hill collapses. I started recording. They whispered, packed up, and left. I thought I'd won a round. But the next HOA meeting was a circus. Monica ranted about enforcement rights, quoting bylaws like scripture. I stood again. You can't vote against gravity. Chloe sneered. Stop scaring everyone. George spoke up. I don't want my house sliding, Monica. A few nodded, but peer pressure won. The vote held. Then, while I was at the dentist, they struck. I came home to a war zone. My gate hung open, my wall reduced to rubble. Plants trampled, mesh twisted, stones hauled away in a dump truck. The crew chief handed me a work order signed by Monica, claiming the wall was failing and hazardous. The lie was laughable, but the damage was done. I called the police, filed a trespassing report, and photographed everything. Standing in the wreckage, I felt the ground shift looser, unstable. That night, I saw water pooling where drainage once worked. Cracks spidered across the soil. The mountain was waking up. I bought survey flags, numbering each and measuring their distance from my porch. By day 4, every flag had moved some an inch, others 4. Trees leaned, water pooled into marshes. I called Monica. The slope's shifting. I have proof. We need to act. She hung up after 5 seconds of silence. The county said they'd process my emergency report, but it'd take days. So I went door to door with photos of mudslide disasters. Patrick, a lawyer new to the neighborhood, studied my data and joined me. You're not lying about this, he said. What do you need? Chloe, though, slammed her door, accusing me of manipulating people. George showed me his floor marbles rolled toward the slope. Started 3 days ago, he said. This isn't normal, is it? That evening, Margaret knocked, trembling. You're right about the danger, Henry. There are emails, internal communications. She stopped, paranoid. She made me swear never to tell. But people could die. I urged her to speak, but she fled, torn between fear and guilt. On day 6, a 12-foot crack split the slope. I emailed the county. Urgent. Ground sliding. The news wanted expert confirmation I didn't yet have. That night, an anonymous text from Margaret. I have something you need to see. Tomorrow, park entrance, after her book club. At 6 a.m., I woke to machinery. Contractors were bulldozing the slope, ripping out vegetation. Monica watched from her car, eyes sunken, hands shaking. I confronted her. You're destabilizing everything. She snapped. Stop asking questions. It'll be fine. We've gone too far. Her panic betrayed her. By noon, a county inspector, Rodriguez, arrived. He went pale at my measurements. Code red. Catastrophic failure possible. Red tape went up, news crews swarmed, but Chloe rallied a petition, claiming I was a paranoid tyrant. That night, a deep rumble shook the earth. A 6-foot section of the slope slid, taking a tree in Monica's irrigation system. I recorded it, sharing it everywhere. Margaret called, whispering. She knew this would happen. I have proof. Rain hit Friday, soaking the unstable soil. At 10 p.m., a wet slide took George's shed. I radioed, evacuate now. Chloe live-streamed, mocking me until she saw the damage. At 10:02 a.m., the world ended. A 30-second cascade of 20 tons of mud and rock erased the park. 3 houses buckled, one tilted like a funhouse. I ran to a red house, lights on, and found an elderly couple trapped. With first responders, I got them out. Then I saw Monica, barefoot in the mud, muttering. I said it'd be fine. As she saw the wreckage houses skewed, lives shattered, she screamed, a primal wail that echoed through the canyon. By sunrise, she was gone, vanished without a trace. Flyers appeared, blaming my wall for the disaster. Neighbors shunned me. Patrick hired a geologist, Dr. Ellis, who confirmed the wall's necessity. But without Margaret's emails, we were losing. Her computer had crashed, files corrupted. 3 days of recovery work felt hopeless. Then, at 11:30 p.m., the specialist called. Got it. Monica's email, dated before the removal, admitted she knew the wall was vital but prioritized aesthetics. If we let him keep it, everyone will build what they want, she wrote, dismissing a geological report. At an emergency meeting, I projected the email. Silence fell. Chloe slipped out. George apologized publicly. Neighbors followed. The HOA offered me the presidency. I accepted, scrapping aesthetic rules for safety guidelines. The HOA dissolved under lawsuits. Homeowners were compensated. I rebuilt the wall, adding benches and a plaque. Listen to the builders. Monica never faced charges, her assets seized. The neighborhood transformed, gardens bloomed, lights sparkled freely. A regional reform committee invited me to fix HOA flaws. Margaret testified, free of her fear. Chloe took engineering classes, humbled. As I watched my granddaughter play safely on the reinforced slope, I knew the real victory wasn't the wall. It was trust, rebuilt on truth. Heroes don't retire. There's always another Monica out there, and I'm ready.